Hello, vintage outboard motor fans. This is T-Mike here at Toledo Bend Lake, making another video today. Today's video is going to be a unique video that I'm calling Behind the Scenes. So I've got over 270 videos now, and over the course of making these videos, I've gotten occasional comments from my subscribers saying, you know, T-Mike, your motors are beautiful, they look great, they always look well done. Your bayou test runs or your lake test runs always runs well. You never show us any problems that you're having. There has to be some challenges and some things that are going on behind the scenes that we're not aware of. So I've decided to make a video that'll show you what's going on behind the scenes here at T-Mike's Vintage Outboards. So it's going to be a 3-part video, all right? First part is going to be a tour. I'm going to take all of you on a tour behind the scenes. The second part is going to be the process that I use to do the work I do with these vintage motors. And then the third part, and the best part, is going to be the concept that I've developed to do this work I do. The concept, and it involves the test motors that I have. So if everybody's ready to go behind the scenes, here we go. Okay, here we go with part 1. I'm going to take you all on a tour behind the scenes. I'm going to take you out to my boneyard, show you my inventory of motors, and show you the motors I have lined up to be worked on. And then I'm going to take you up and show you my eBay room. Most of you know I do eBay selling, and I have a loft up here in the man cave where I have all my eBay parts and do my eBay selling and shipping back there. Then I'm going to show you my workstations. I have 4 workstations to process these motors through, and I'll show you all that. And then I'm going to give you a tour of the Misty boat that you see me in, testing all these motors out on the bayou or the lake. So if everybody's ready for part 1, here we go. And here we are outside the front of my lake house. I got my firewood stand here, and hidden behind the fireworks stand is my boneyard. There's all my motors. These are the motors that I go out and do my picking and bring back. These are 1930s and 40s collection I have up for sale right now. I think I actually got them sold to a local restaurant. And here's the 50s and 60s motors that I use for eBay parts and restoring and putting them back to use. So that's the boneyard. Let's take a walk over to my eBay room now. Okay, here's my man cave. Got my workstation out here, we'll talk about in a minute. My eBay parts are located inside my man cave. I have a loft up in the top where my eBay parts are. That's the lift I use to bring parts up and down. There's a stairwell, and just walk upstairs to the eBay room. Here's my parts room for my eBay sales.
The impact that it had in such a short period of time. And the pathway that it took.
So as you can see, if I need parts for my motors, I got them. I've got over 2,000 parts listed in my eBay store. There's all my magnetos, flywheels, pistons, carburetors, crankshafts, rewind starters. I've got plenty of parts, drive shafts, shift rods. I got plenty of parts if I need them. I just come up in my eBay room here in my loft, in my man cave,
Yeah, that is the concern.
There's the stairway.
Victor, thank you. Let's see where the storm
Going
is
down
headed
into the
next.
man
Samara
cave.
Theodore here with that forecast. Samara, good
My
morning.
bourbon
Once again.
collection.
Good morning, Win. And you know,
Well, if I need parts for these motors behind the scenes, I got the parts here.
going to be bringing severe weather to the East Coast and parts of the South. We remain under a tornado watch for much of central Alabama, just south.
Okay, as I said, I have 4 workstations. First one in here is in my man cave. There's all my tools laid out. I got tools up here, tools here, got a vise here. That's where I take my pictures for my eBay. So this is where I do the clean work. After I got them taken apart, degreased, and cleaned, I'll bring them in here and line them up and put them together on this workstation right here. That's workstation number 1. Let's go check out number 2. All right, and outside here, I have workstation number 2 on top of my Cajun microwave. Here's all my tools laid out so I can work on these motors right here. That's station number 2. Then as we walk out towards the lake, here's my, as I call it, building number 3 workshop. Got motors out here I'm working on. We'll talk about that process in the next section. I have a workstation right here with a set of tools to be able to work on the motors. There's my dirty station. Right here is where I put the motors and change the gear oil and clean them, degrease them. Right there. Got a chop table with a drill press, and then inside here is workstation number 4. Got my tools set up right here. I do my painting right here, my cowlings and everything. And I got a workbench over here. I got a bunch of 9.5 carburetors and magnetos. We'll talk about that in the later part of the video. So that covers all 4 of my workstations. And then, as promised, here's a tour of the Missy boat. Got it hooked up to my Kubota tractor to be able to launch her in the lake. Missy boat is named Missy because of my 15-year-old lab that we lost a couple of years ago. It was named Missy. So I bought this 1958 Feathercraft 14-foot John boat and named her Missy. This is the boat you see me running down the bayous and the lake for testing. Alright, and that concludes the tour of T. Mike's Vintage Outboard Workshop. Okay, I hope y'all enjoyed the tour. That concludes part 1. Now we'll move into part 2, which is the process. So I'm going to show you how I process these motors through my different workstations, and maybe that'll help you if you're working on multiple motors and you want to get some kind of order together and some kind of process. I'll walk you through what I do with that now. So here we go with part 2. Here we go. Okay, so the process. Process involves taking the motors either brought to me, shipped to me, or from my boneyard, and lining them up right here. These are the motors that have to be worked on, either 950 restores or 1250 restores. So line them up right here in order to be worked on, and then the next process is to set them up on one of these stands right here and make them run. Before I do anything to them, I'll make them run. I use my tools right here, spark checker, compression gauge, everything I need right here to get them running. All right. Now, once they're running, it's time to rebuild the magnetos, the carburetors, and all that. I'll move the motors over to this workstation. Okay. So these motors have been made to run. Now I'll rebuild the carburetors, the magnetos, and the gear case, anything that needs to be taken care of. All right. Then, if it's a full restore and it needs to be taken apart, I'll use this workstation right here, right, to take the motors apart. I'll move them over to the dirty station right here, where I can use WD-40 and the green machine cleaner to clean the parts. I have an air compressor right there. I'll blow them off and get them all parts all cleaned, and then move them to my workstation inside the man cave. They're all clean now, so I can do the final assembly in the man cave, and then take them out here and put them on the Missy boat. So this is one that's this is restore number 133 for Tim. That's finished. It came out here, went on the Missy boat, did my lake run test on it, and brought it back out, and it's ready for pickup right here. So that's the process and how I use all 4 stations to process these motors and get them back out. I hope this helps you if you're processing motors and want to do more than one at a time. It's nice to have a setup like this to be able to do it. And it's also nice to have a beautiful day on the lake today. Okay, so that was the process. That's how I process my motors. Now I'm going to talk about part 3 is the concept. All right, this is the fun part, the part I like the most. So I've come up with this concept of test motors. So I've zeroed in on the 1950s, 60s, and early 70s. Johnson Everdude 18 horsepower and less, and I've got me a setup with a test motor of each horsepower. I have a 3 horsepower, I have a 5.5, I have a 7.5, I have a 10, and I have an 18. I'll show you those motors in a minute and kind of demonstrate how I do. I have the mail-in service program where people ship me carburetors, gear cases, and magnetos. I can rebuild them and test them on these test motors and be able to ship them back. So I even use it on my restorers. If I'm doing a restore and I got it all restored, but it doesn't run just right, either misses, a lean sneeze, or any problem at all, I'll just take my test motor carburetor and stick it on there. If that fixes the lean sneeze, then I know I got a carburetor problem because I got a good working motor. Same thing with the gear case or the magneto. Is if I have a restore that has an odd problem to it, overheating gear case maybe, I can take the gear case off of my test motor and put it on the restore I'm doing, and if it fixes it, then I know the problem is in that gear case. So it's an awesome way to be able to solve problems with your work you're doing if you have a known working motor of each horsepower. So I'm gonna take you outside now. Let's take a look at my test motors, and I'm going to go over a unique problem I have going on with a 9.5 right now and show you how I'm using my test motors to solve the problem. So if everybody's ready, here we go. Okay, here is my set of test motors. I got the 3 horsepower 1958, 5.5 horsepower 1958, 7.5 1958. I got the 10 horsepower, and I got the 18 horsepower. So those are my test motors, all run, all work. Now here is a unique situation I'm under. So I've got a motor to do for Steph right here, a 9.5. I've got a motor for Bill to do over there, it's a 9.5, and that's my test motor over here, 9.5. Well, I've been working on Bill's motor for 2 or 3 months now, and it's been one thing after another. It doesn't run just right. The gear case has a cooling problem in it. So I pulled out my 9.5 test motor, and guess what? It doesn't run right. Misses, runs out of fuel. I'm just not happy with my test motor, so I have to fix my test motor first before I can fix Bill's motor. So this is an example of my concept not working, and I'm having problems fixing motors because my test motor's out. So I went ahead and took out the magnetos and the carburetors on both of them. And I took all my spare magnetos and carburetors and I laid them out on my workbench. Right here. I got 5 carburetors and 5 magnetos. So what my plan is to test each one of these 10 components on my test motor. I want to make that test motor run with that set, that set, that set, that set, and that set, and tag them with tags and say tested good and the date. So I know I have good components right here to work on future 9.5s. So this is an example of my concept not working because I didn't keep up with my test motor. So my goal is to get my 9.5s test motor back in shape so I can get Bill's motor and Steph's motor out to them. Well, all right, that concludes the behind the scenes of T Mike's Vintage Outboards. I hope you all enjoyed it. I love sharing with you guys how I have my setup here. Hopefully it'll help you in what you're doing with your vintage motors. So in conclusion, let's summarize. All right, I took you guys on a tour, behind the scenes tour, the eBay room, the boneyard, my workstations, the Missy boat, and then we talked about the process, how I process my motors through the 4 different workstations. And then we talked about the concept I developed with the test motors. All right, I hope you are doing enough of this to be able to use that concept in your shop. So if with all these 3 sections covered, I hope you've enjoyed the behind the scenes view of T Mike Vintage Outboards. Hope y'all enjoyed the video. I know I did. See y'all next time. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed the video. I know I enjoyed making it. I love what I do. I especially love helping people with their hobby and providing all the services that you need to work on these vintage outboard motors. So I'd like to take this opportunity to go over the things that I can offer you. So first thing is my eBay store. I have an eBay store, been having it for 10 or 12 years, have over 2,000 parts. If you need parts, T Mike's eBay store is where to go. I have a link for all these things down in the description. Just click on the link, it'll bring you right to my store. I also offer a mail-in service program. You can ship me your magneto, carburetor, or gear case. I'll repair it here, test it on my motors, and send it right back to you. All right. I also offer technical consulting. I have a link down in the description on eBay to buy it, $40 an hour. I don't mind you calling me and helping you for 10 or 15 minutes for free. If it takes longer than that and you want to dedicate an hour or 2 towards helping it, just buy one of these items on eBay and I'll give you technical consulting. I also do repair, service, and restoration on outboard motors. You've seen my videos, you've seen my work. Here's a link to the video to give you the prices for doing that work. You can ship me your motor. I can restore it for you and ship it back to you. All right. I've also started selling parts on eBay. All right. I sell a full tune-up kit, the master kit. It's got everything you need: coils, points, condensers, spark plugs, spark wires with the boots on them. Everything you need to rebuild your carburetor. And then I also sell all these parts individually. You can buy just the coils, just the tune-up kit, just the spark plugs, just the spark wires if you want. All right. And also I'm now offering T Mike Vintage Outboard caps and mouse pads. If you want to join the T Mike Club, all these links are down in the description. Also, I would like to mention that if you have any videos that I don't have that you would like to make, just hit me on YouTube or text me at 337-278-5429. I'll gladly make a video. I've got over 270 now videos on these motors. I think I have everything covered, but if I don't, just go ahead and hit me up. I'd love to make a video to help you guys out. And always remember and never forget, here at T Mike's Vintage Outboards, we're doing it one motor at a time. See y'all next video.